What's going on, everyone? The fact that Dalton Knecht has been so good so quickly, I mean, literally right out the gate. I mean, he's been the perfect complement alongside LeBron James, Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell even. D'Lo's done a really good job of getting Dalton Knecht the basketball. He's been one of the guys that has fed him the most. Also, I talked about the stat where Dalton Knecht and D'Angelo Russell are like the second best duo in all of basketball behind Jokic and Murray. And it's because, like, Dalton Knecht, he just led the Lakers in scoring 2 straight games, right? On a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, on top of Austin Reeves being the 3rd guy and D'Lo being the 6th guy, and Dalton Knecht's the guy that is putting in the work. Dalton Knecht is the guy that is making it happen. And so far, through the 18 games in which the Lakers have played, right, he is averaging 23.3 minutes. He is shooting 50% from the field on 8.4 attempts. He is shooting 44% from three-point range on 5.2 attempts. He is shooting 62% from two-point range on 3.2 attempts. He has an EFG of 64%. He is shooting 89% from the free throw line on 1 attempt average per game. He's averaging 3 rebounds, although he has been rebounding better, and I do think I could see him getting and finishing around like 4, maybe 5, once we get to the end of the season. 1.1 assists, half a steal, as well as 12 points per game for the Lakers. Now, did a video diving into the potential of Dalton Knecht having a historic season, not just by Lakers standards. I'm talking about like something that only 9 other guys have ever done, which is be part of the 50-40-90 club. Dalton Knecht is on pace to be part of the 50-40-90 club. He has to make a couple free throws, right? Like, that's a little concerning because, he's not getting the free throw attempts, right? So it's like he's made 16 of 18 total free throws. I did a whole video on breaking this down, so I don't want to go too much into this, but just to kind of briefly go over particularly the free throws. He's made 16 out of 18 free throws. So he's only missed 2 free throws the entire season thus far. But it's such small volume because he's pretty much just a catch and shoot guy, right? He's a guy that's there to just knock down, 3 or 4 threes a game. But because of that, he's not getting the foul line a lot, which leads to essentially him having to be as close to perfect shooting the 3 ball as possible. And he's done quite the job. But beyond that, what's crazy is he has been arguably the 2nd most consistent player this entire season. Right? Like, Anthony Davis, I think, has been our best and consistent-wise. I know he's kind of had his little struggles, particularly the last game. And LeBron's had like a handful of games where he's been pretty bad, right? Obviously, the turnover issues with LeBron's like leading the league by like a good margin right now. He's averaging like 5 turnovers a game, which is like insane. He got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. Obviously, look, he's older, but unless his brain is starting to decline, it's one thing for your body and stuff like that, but unless his brain, because it's not like he's just like, he's just so slow, he can't, no, it's just his decision making, right? He leaves his feet a bunch. He's constantly trying to thread the needle. It's just, you can be patient, wait for the right pass, right? That is incredibly frustrating, but nonetheless, right? He's had his struggles. He's had his good games. He's had some pretty bad games. He's had 2 games this season that are probably the worst games he's had in 20 years, right? Austin Reeves, incredibly inconsistent, right? The guy, even in the games recently that he has been good in, right? He's been good half to half, right? It's one half, the first half he was really good, and he has 14, and then he finishes the game with 16. You're okay, right? D'Angelo Russell, he's been better lately, but he was unplayable for a good stretch of the season. Rui Hachimura has been incredibly inconsistent, right? Gabe Vincent, essentially unplayable. Cam Reddish isn't giving you anything offensively, right? You go down the list of just kind of the players on this team, and it's Dalton Knecht might really genuinely be the second, if not third, most consistent player. Right? If you want to put LeBron as far as consistency goes, sure. Again, consistency doesn't mean best. Right? I want that to be clear, because I can already see somebody being like, are you saying Knecht is the second best player? No. There's a difference between consistency and your best player. Right? Like, no one's saying Dalton Knecht's better than LeBron, better than Anthony Davis. And in Austin Reeves' defense, because I have been very critical of Austin Reeves, in Austin Reeves' defense, he's also asked to do so much more than Dalton Knecht. It's easy to be consistent when it's like, hey, your role is to just shoot 5 threes a game, right? Like, and you don't really have to do much. I mean, obviously you have to play defense, stuff like that, but you get the point, right? Like, he just needs to everyone else is going to create for him. He just needs to be ready and knock it down. You're ready and knock it down, we're in good shape. But seriously, you look at his stats and you look at kind of what he's done, right? He had a 37-point game, a 17-point game, back-to-back 20-point games, right? Like, he has been fantastic in those regards. And he's a guy that you can just see, like, look, he's at his rough stretches, right? I'm not saying he hasn't had a bad game here and there, right? He's had games where, he's 2 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3, right? That's not great, right? But he's also had more games where he's been really good, even early in the season, right? He had games where he had 8 points, but he was like, 2 or 3 from 3, right? And it's like, you keep looking at his production and how game in and game out, right? Because, you see a lot of guys that'll come in, right? And Dalton Knecht is like the perfect fit alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So he does greatly benefit from that. But you also see a lot of guys that, like, when they get like 3 field goals or 5 field goals, they're like 60%. And you're like, wow, this guy's really good. But then as soon as they get like 7, 8, 9, 10, they're terrible, right? Like, you see a lot of guys in the league that are like really good on small shot attempts, right? But as soon as they start getting some volume, it's not the same, right? You see guys like early in their careers, right? They're like, oh, wow, this guy shot 55% from 3-point range. But then you look at his attempts and it's like 1.7. It's like, oh, and then, by year 5, he's averaging like 6 attempts per game, and he's like a 36% 3-point shooter, which is not bad, but you get the point, right? Like, it's like, the volume plus percentage is not what it is. Not with Dalton Knecht, man. The more he shoots, the better he gets, right? Like, we've seen games where he's like 0 of 4 or like 2 of 7, right? And the next thing you know, he's like 5 of 12 or, 5 of 10 or whatever. It's just like, wow, right? Like, great example was that OKC game, right? I think he was 2 of 6 and then ended up finishing 6 of 13 from 3-point range, right? Like, so he basically made 4 out of 7 of his last 3s, right? Like, and that's something that we've seen him be able to do and just get hot in a hurry. And that's what's really impressive, right? Like, he's able to do it on volume. He's able to do it, on a regular basis. Again, he's going to have, everyone has bad games. It's fine to have bad games, but to have a rookie who has essentially been your third most consistent player, which again, I do think there's an argument for him to have been the second most consistent. I'm not talking about all the little nuances, right? Like, it's not a knock on LeBron, right? Like, again, LeBron James is still a top 10 player, still LeBron James. Anthony Davis, still Anthony Davis, right? LeBron is asked to do so much more than Dalton Knecht, right? I'm not comparing like, oh, well, their roles and stuff like that. Because again, I can already hear people being like, oh, well, LeBron's got to average nearly a triple-double. Like, again, that's not the point, right? It's the role in which Dalton Knecht is supposed to play. He has been incredibly consistent with that, which is a good thing, right? That helps LeBron. That helps Anthony Davis. That helps the Lakers as a whole. You should be incredibly thankful, as I am, that Dalton Knecht is doing this. Now, again, this doesn't mean he's a superstar or he's anything crazy, right? Like, got to put it in perspective. He's done a good job. He has to still maintain it. It's very early in the season. But I do think this is something that's worth discussing, right? We're about to approach our 20th game, and he has been fantastic. He's been everything the Lakers could have hoped for and then some. Right? Lakers were trying to get Klay Thompson this past offseason, right? And we're willing to pay him like $20 million a year. And they ended up essentially getting that guy in the draft with the 17th pick. And Dalton Knecht has actually been better than Klay Thompson, right? Like, if you look at, percentages as far as like production, right? So looking at Klay, for example, this season, he's averaging 28.5 minutes per game. He's shooting 12.3 attempts, so basically 4 more attempts per game. He's shooting 38.3% from the floor. He's shooting 36.8% from three-point range on 8 attempts. So 2.5 more attempts than Dalton Knecht. But literally like 10% worse. Right? He's shooting 41.1% from 2-point range on 4.3 attempts, which is only 1 more than Dalton Knecht. He has an EFG of 50%. He's also averaging 3.6 rebounds, 1.8 assists. Will be nice, round up to a steal, half a block, 13.2 points. Literally, he's averaging 1 more point on 4 more attempts from the floor than Dalton Knecht. And the Lakers are going to pay him $20+ million. Where Dalton Knecht has been able to do that on just much better efficiency. Now, again, like Klay Thompson, you can't account for experience and playoff performance, and it's still a long way to go for Dalton Knecht. But I do think that is incredibly impressive. Talking about one of the greatest shooters ever that we were trying to acquire, LeBron was willing to take a discount for, and we essentially got one in the draft. Like, he has a long way to go before he's Klay Thompson, but I'm talking about like this version of Klay. What Klay's producing this season compared to what Dalton Knecht's producing. Knecht's been the better player. He's been the more consistent player. I mean, Klay Thompson's had several, like 1 of 11 games, 0 of 11 games, right? Like, not Knecht. Knecht's been fantastic. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? You've been impressed with Dalton Knecht as well. Again, clarify, I'm not saying he's the best player on the team or anything crazy like that. It's just simply he's been very impressive and very consistent, which is the key. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. And that subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.